listening to Over the Oxer podcast with Tracey Cole for all things to do with the mind for equestrians. Welcome to this second episode about how to prepare for a ride in terms of mindset and also what to do when you're riding. So last time, if you didn't catch that episode, we talked about what to do in the days running up to a ride. Whereas today we're talking about the day of the ride and just before we go riding. Okay, so what are we going to do? So hopefully you've been practicing the things that I told you about last time, such as the visualizing and also watching your language. So the goal here is to balance your physiology and your focus. Your physiology in NLP terms is your body language, how you're holding yourself. And when you hold yourself in a confident manner, it goes some way to helping you actually feel confident. And when you feel confident, then your posture changes. And when your posture changes, you feel more confident. So it's a fantastic positive feedback mechanism. So I'm going to give you 3 ways to start to balance out that physiology and those emotions. So first of all, a breathing technique. Now, there are hundreds of breathing techniques, but choose one that you like. Choose an easy one because you can actually do it then whilst you're tacking up as well. So you could be doing this before you tack up or as you tack up. So one way of doing this is to breathe in for a count of 4, hold for 4, and then breathe out for 6. Hold for 2, breathe in for 4, out for 6. And you may know that, certain breathing exercises help to regulate your nervous system. So very often what we're requiring in terms of our mindset is a reset to the nervous system. We want to switch from the fight or flight, the sympathetic nervous system, to more like rest and ride in the parasympathetic. And breathing is one way to do it. Okay. As you're breathing, or after you've finished, you can start to ground yourself. Now again, grounding can be done in different ways. I remember when I was first lecturing in a university and the auditorium held 300 people. I didn't have 300 people in the class, but it was immense. There were 2 screens because there were so many people. And there was a little lectern. And I thought, why am I in this huge room? It's so intimidating just to be in this room. And I went to a course which was about how to lecture. And the first thing that the lady said was, feel the ground beneath you. Feel the ground through your feet. And that's what I would do. So I'd have my feet about hip width apart, or, about 12 inches, 30 centimeters apart. And I would just feel the ground. And I'd feel the ground on my toes, on my heels. I think I used to wear heels in those days, so I couldn't feel it on my arches. But if I were in flats, I would have probably felt the feeling of the ground on my arches and just every little part of my toes and my foot. I'd be thinking about how it feels. And so you might want to do something similar. You just stand and breathe and feel it. Another grounding technique that some people like is 5 things that you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can touch, 2 things that you can taste, 1 thing you can smell. Which again, sounds really simple. It's getting the conscious mind out of the way. So you're going more and more into that deeper mind. And the more you go into that deeper mind, the better connection that you make with your horse. Some people also imagine the centre of their head. Sounds a bit weird. So rather than thinking about your physical eyes on the front of your face, kind of put their attention behind that into the centre of the head. And for some people, that's very grounding. It helps to get you in touch with your unconscious mind. The last thing to do is to rehearse mentally. So visualize the first part of your ride, just the first 60 to 90 seconds. That's it, the first bit. As you visualize, think about it very calmly, very clearly, very confidently. What's your floor plan? How are you going to warm up? And I think that takes away some of the nerves when you're thinking about whether you're doing demi-volts or you're doing figures of 8 or whatever you might be doing, because then you've got something to give your conscious mind. The conscious mind is a little devil if it doesn't have a task to do. So if you give it a task like, right, tell me what my floor plan is. Tell me how much pressure I need to exert to make this a nice clear aid. Tell me if this circle is good or it's a bit more of an egg. So if you can keep your conscious mind out of the way, then you're doing well. So all we're doing at the moment in this pre-ride section is visualizing the first 60 to 90 seconds of the ride. Just the start, because that will set the emotional tone for the whole ride. If you want an extra bonus tip, then you can ask yourself, how do I want to feel about this ride? And maybe it's calm, or it's happy, or it's curious, it's powerful, whatever it might be, whatever word fits. Imagine stepping into that feeling in your visualization as you pick up the reins. So it's like stepping inside a mirror. If you've got arena mirrors, it'd work really well. But you can imagine the person on the other side of the mirror is you, and they already hold that particular emotion, and you're just simply stepping inside as you pick up the reins to have that particular emotion, that particular state. Okay, so those are the 3 things: breathe, ground, visualize. And if you want to think about the emotion and stepping into the mirror as an extra bonus, you can do. So next time we're going to talk about what you're going to do in those first few minutes when you're on the horse. So take care. Let me know how it's going. Let me know what's working. Let me know what you need help with. And I will see you again really soon.